right, we're going back live again. Going back live again. Driving out here in Alaska, there's some dead spots, and I got cut off earlier. On my live stream, but I was able to get one portion of my talk done, and that was on work. That was regarding work, and I was able to finish my thoughts on that and speak that through. And if you want to hear that talk, just go back to the previous video. With regarding to work, we separated out income levels for that. We separated that out, and we did talk about income, but we focused on what work makes of you as a person. But now we're moving into finances, and part of that is income from work and income from other places. But sometimes talking about income and finances it could be a touchy subject among people. It is a touchy subject, and it could be difficult to talk about if you've not been good with managing your finances well. Maybe you didn't necessarily come from a household where money talks were a positive interaction. They may have leaned to be negative in nature. And there's a whole host of reasons why it could be that way. And we'll save that for another time. But just know, money talk it's not positive and it's not negative. Money talk, generally speaking, in the way I'm framing this, is neutral. Money talk is neutral. And we want to keep it neutral. We want to keep it neutral as vanilla. And the reason why I say that is, for so long, when people in general and families in general don't talk about money, or don't talk about money or financial education, what we hear related to money could be, we can't afford that. Generally, that would be in a negative context. We can't afford that in the money talk. Or you received some gift, which means obviously receiving a gift is positive. And the reason why I say money talk is, in my mindset, is neutral, is because money, if we look at it as a whole, other than paying for stuff, it's a data point. Money is a data point. It goes up, it goes down. Up, it goes down. It comes in and goes out. So it's a data point. And if we look at it as a data point, then we don't have any reason to be embarrassed about having the money talk, about money discussions. But what could happen is, if you're with the wrong group of people and you're having money and you're talking about money, is that conversation positive in nature, in a framework of, let's talk about money and let's talk about how money is a tool for our use. So if you're with a group of people and you're talking about money and you're talking about, hey, how do we talk about money so that it is a tool, not a bullwhip, not anything that we're embarrassed about. whether it's up or it's down. It's just a data point. So let's talk about money as a data point. So, and the purpose of me doing this, really, I'm talking to myself, because I didn't grow up necessarily with I didn't grow up where you kind of just spoke about money. Hey, this is what's coming in. This is what's going out. This is the household resources and income. This is what the income is, and this is what's required to run the house if your house is a business. Let's talk about money as a data point, and your house is the business. So let's separate the emotional part of money and talk about it as a business. How's the business doing? How is your business doing? And I am talking to myself because this is new to me too. And that's why that's why I'm having the conversations, is to better prepare myself for where I'd like to go in the future as I get into my retirement years. So that's a 5-year money journey, 5-year millionaire journey. Become a millionaire in 5 years. It is definitely delusional. So now that we got that part out of the way, we got hey, Chad is a little delusional, thinking, $1 million in 5 years. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Just a quick note. I'm driving I started in Anchorage, Alaska this morning, and I'm driving to Kenai. Got about another 40 minutes, and I want to finish up some conversations I was having earlier before my YouTube live went dead. So it's hard for me to read the comments, but I appreciate each and every one of you jumping on. And if you put in a comment, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Put something in the comments about your relationship to money. Let's do that. All right, so talking about the money talk. I'm 50. That's pretty much public information, because birth records are public information. And you can go on any one of the searches and look me up. I am starting from $0. I have a career, but I am starting from $0 and going into a millionaire status in 5 years, because I'm a bit delusional, and there's lots of markers that say it's possible. There's lots of markers that say it's possible, so here we are. When you were a kid, did you hear or were you exposed to the concept of big bank take little bank? Big bank take little bank. And it was a power move. It was usually done in a group of other kids your age. And usually the person that said it probably had more money in their pocket than you, because maybe somehow they got a couple bucks or something. But that was a power move to make you to belittle you into thinking that whatever it is you had in your pocket, even if it were $2 for a school lunch or 50 cents for a school lunch, that was a way to belittle you in your little mind. Big bank take little bank. That might be, some of the early group interactions related to money in your life. It certainly was for mine. And plus, some of the other things, the idea of you can't afford something, or you received a gift and you're like, okay, yeah, we can afford it. Or you lived in a certain type of house and friends thought you were rich, right? Or you went to somebody's house and you thought they were rich. You looked at what they were driving and you thought, oh man. And all along the way, we're building up in our minds these notions and ideas about what we believe money did for us, or made us look, or how we related to money. And we didn't know either, but we didn't look at money as just data coming in, data going out, data that we can, if we got educated enough, we can look at it and figure out, okay, can we do something special with it? So money's neutral. That's kind of the baseline. Money is neutral. So then, if money is neutral, and we all need it, obviously, we need to eat, and we need to live somewhere, and have some clothes and gas and all that kind of stuff. But money is a data point. And I'll tell you why you know it's a data point. I'll tell you why you know it's a data point. Because when you have more, you do more. There's your data point. When you have less, you do less. There's your data point. But that's still that's giving money. How do I say this? That's giving us the wrong view of money. If you have more, spend more. If you have, spend less. Whereas we're better suited to spend less continually. Well, spend less continually, or keep our money expenditures, our money expenses static, right? Keep it the same, but keep our income levels increasing. So keep our expenditures static and keep our income levels increasing. Okay? And this is nothing new. I've heard this, and you guys have heard this, and you've heard, you've heard the phrases early on, save and invest, save for a rainy day, invest for your retirement. But what happens to you when you're, what happens to you when you're older, when you're 50-ish, or kids are out of the house or out of college, and you've paid for kids' colleges or universities or whatever the things are that you pay for kids, because we all love our kids and we do stuff for them. But what happens when you run out of money, and then you begin to think, okay, how do we get to retirement? What do we do from now to retirement to set ourselves up so when we enter retirement, we're going into it with a small nest egg? Because the later in life you start, you've missed the advantages of compounding interest. So there's that. But what happens when you go into life and you have a small nest egg? So that's going to reduce your anxiety and your worries. Dave Ramsey said on a call, I just saw it the other day. He said on a call and it was probably a replay. He was talking to a widow. She was widowed for 15 years. Put her kids through college. She's 50 years old and she doesn't have anything for retirement. And he said, hey, put $1,000 into some type of plan, some type of savings plan, some type of investment thing, and do that for 15 years. And by the time she hit retirement age, she'd have close to $500,000. He did put some asterisks around that and said, $500,000 is not enough, but at least you'll have a warm place to stay and food to eat. Okay. So that's what he said. $1,000 a month for 15 years. But we know we've not set up our habits. We've not set up our habits. If we haven't set up our habits to do $1,000 a month, Harley Davidson shop, all right. It will be harder than not pig snot, but it'll be harder than Mount Rushmore. You need dynamite to blow up those old habits to put $1,000 moving forward. Because we haven't started early, we miss the opportunity for our money to grow over time with compounding interest. That's the thing that we're missing. Okay. So then, what do we do? Let's say $1,000. Okay, I'm gonna do it. And we don't do it. We don't do the $1,000 because if we've not ever practiced saving and investing, we're not going to go from zero to $1,000 on a short 5-minute call with pretty much a stranger. And the $1,000 number could be in our mind, it could be so difficult to think that we could do that, and then we become discouraged, and then we don't do anything. We don't do anything. We keep the zero plot going. So we keep that $0 mark going on the line when we needed to make the leap off the cliff and do $1,000. And this is what Dave Ramsey's telling this gal, a widow of 15 years, put her kids through college. She's 50, has zero in retirement. Maybe there's a house you can sell and that kind of thing, but we'll put the house aside. We're just talking straight cash. Retirement at 67 or 65, and then average life expectancy somewhere 83-ish, average. Play the averages. So you got to you have to fund your retirement years, which is going to equate to, at 16 years, depending on your lifestyle, maybe $1 million, $1.5 million, somewhere in there. And that depends on your lifestyle and if you want to do some other things such as traveling. Okay, so we got that out of the way. But if you've done zero for retirement, making the jump to $1,000 is very difficult. And I don't say that to discourage you. I've got some thoughts and ideas. If you're not so maybe actual ability-wise, you can't do $1,000 into a retirement savings plan. Okay, maybe that's what's true. You can't do $1,000 into your savings plan. Because physically you don't have it. Physically you can't do it after all your bills are paid, or before all your bills are paid. Or you have it, but the habits that have been built over a lifetime will not give you the peace of mind, maybe not peace of mind, but the habits you built over a lifetime will fight like hell against your desire to do it, because your habits are ingrained and they've become part of who you are, right? Your habits are, pretty much what you do daily, but they're so ingrained that when you do anything opposite and different of that, your old habits fight against it. And that's why they say, bad habits die hard. When we are looking at our future retirement, and I'm on a 5-year millionaire 5-year millionaire journey, I had to take some baby steps. I had to take some steps. I had to take some steps. That's what I have to do. 5-year millionaire, it's quite delusional, but it is possible with modern technology. But there were certain things that I needed to do and implement in my own life to help reframe, rewire, restructure my thinking. And the only way I can do that up here is by physically changing, by physically, actively changing things that I'm doing. So on a motorcycle ride, I was processing this stuff and kind of thinking this through, and you can get excited about certain things and big grandiose goals, and sometimes that will that fades away real quickly when the realization of the work that it takes to do that becomes overwhelming. Because crap, I've not done it. I don't know anybody. I personally don't know anybody that has done it in a short amount of time. Not saying that there aren't people that I know that they've done it, but not have communicated that openly. Because money talk is private. So on my motorcycle ride, I was looking at something that I was considering something that made sense to me. It says, well, if I want to go in this direction, if I want to go in a different direction, I need to make a 180-degree turn into that direction. So stop taking the train north, get on the next train south, because the further you are down the track is the longer you have coming back to baseline. Well, I looked at Instagram, and I was spending and we're getting to the kind of the meat of what I want to talk about. So I was using like just over 2 hours a day on Instagram, so close to 17 hours a week. Figured, oh crap, I am burning revenue, burning dollars, because I'm wasting time on Instagram. 17 hours a week. Hell, let's go get a $20 an hour job and take that money that I earned from that job and put it into my retirement. Not that I could do a $20 an hour job for the next 16, 17 years. But that's one way to go about it, right? So you take this wasted time and you turn it into productive time. So that was one thing that kind of flipped the switch in my mind, that really put a little ether into my motion to go where I want to go. And since then, that time has just pretty much gone away. I mean, I still am on Instagram, but I'm being more diligent about how, and I reduced that time down to 55 minutes the last time I checked, and I think it'll be down further if I check again. But all of that to say, taking wasted time and repurposing that time into something productive, which could be go get a second job. Okay, go get a second job to fund your retirement, so you can put money into your retirement. If you're 50 years old, Dave Ramsey, this isn't me, and you can go check his calculator too. It says $1,000 a month for the next 15 years, and you'll have about $500,000. Okay, but if you don't have $1,000, what do? Well, do something to put yourself into new habits. Put $50 a month into new habits, okay? Because you want to develop that habit. $50 a month is not $1,000 a month. It's not really going to get you there if $1,000 is what gets you there. But at least it helps you develop some thinking and some habits. And then if you thought through, okay, well, where could I take existing funds and put it there? Hey, your $5 Starbucks coffee, put it into $5 Starbucks stock. There, so that's kind of a generic way to illustrate a point. So reallocating your time into something productive that will provide you a greater return in the future. Because if you're 50 and starting at zero, you missed a long time window to take advantage of compounding interest, which is where I'm at. I've missed the eighth wonder of the world, compounding interest. When your money is making you money. Your money is making you money when you're asleep. So money is neutral and it's a data point. If we look at our data points and solve a storyline from way back then till now, what's the arc on that story? Where does that money arc, does that storyline from previous years tell us what's going to happen in the coming years in our life? Money's just a data point. It is there. If we plot it out over a lifetime, where we're going to end up. So we're plotting out income, we're plotting out expenses, we're plotting out any savings or investments, we're plotting out best earnings years, which, they say it's like 45 to 54 is kind of your best earnings years. And then as we go into retirement, 65, 67, generally speaking, our income tends to drop. And that's not me, that's just, you can look that up yourself. So if our income drops, we've used our best youthful years. We've squandered our best youthful years in compounding interest, and then we get hit with an income drop or maybe health issues. Now we're going to be in some serious problems. So as I'm talking with you, I'm working these things out in my own mind about my trajectory and how I'm going to take active control of investing and saving for the future. And as a matter of fact, I work a regular job. I work a regular job. I'm in sales for a national company. And when I listened to Dave Ramsey say what he said, and then I listened to a Charlie Munger from Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's compadre, I listened to what he said. Well, that morning I logged into my company sponsor 401k, and I upped the percentage to a point that it made me uncomfortable, because my brain says, you don't do that. You've never done that. Why would you do that now? And logically, I know, right, that would happen. But sure as shit, it did. That my little old habit sitting on my shoulders, like, what are you doing? You're not that bright, are you? So I had to push back against that and fight against that to up my percentage as high as possible so I would feel the pain. Up my percentage as high as possible so I would feel the pain. Money coming direct out of my payroll into the company sponsored 401k plan. But I did it. So that's one step. Hey, B. Carrillo, good to see you. The next step is generating additional income somehow that I could take that, put it into, again, retirement or savings, something like that. But generate more income so I can push it over to that one side. Now, with all the money talking, it's all data points. I will say this: I am not going completely zero expenses, like zero entertainment or zero eating out. I'm changing how I do those things, and I'm thinking that differently. I'm thinking through that differently. There are a couple things that I'm involved with that cost money, and there's significant amount of money in most regards, but I'm going to keep doing it. So I ride a motorcycle. That's fuel and time, but I'm going to keep doing that, and insurance on it. And I'm a student pilot, and that's pretty expensive, but I will continue to do those things. I just have to look at ways to increase my income to park it back in a savings or retirement vehicle. Okay? So that's that. So the time that I'm saving by not doing mind-numbing scrolling, looking at lives of other people on Instagram. YouTube is different for me. It's completely different. Instagram, I'm not engaged in it. I am a consumer of the whatever it's providing. I am a consumer of that. But the time that I'm saving from doing that, I have found a way. It's not like it's some new thing or anything like that, but I've learned of some ways that I could increase my income. So now I'm doing that with the time saved from not using Instagram as much. And I'm pretty excited about that. And so that's a long way to say there are things that we do that we could give up to do other things that will allow us to live closer to how we want to live as we get older. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's what I'm doing with that. At some point, our money's got to work for us, right? At some point, we're no longer able to trade. We won't be able to trade time for dollars, or the time that we're trading, the dollars just won't be that much. So then we have to find some things that we could do to improve our position in life. And so that's we're talking about the money talk. So on your job, at work, which is where most people earn money, the vast majority of people are going to work somewhere to earn money. So then what do we do? What can we do? We could improve our value proposition to those that we work for by gaining additional skills that are worth more. By learning how to be better communicators about those skills so we can get paid more. Not just because I've been here for 20 years and I've given you all this time and now you owe me a raise, right? Nobody owes us anything. I'm not owed anything. I am only owed what I am worth and the value of what I offer in the marketplace. I'm only worth what I bring to the marketplace. Case in point, you could be the best ditch digger with a pickaxe and shovel. Or you could be a heavy equipment operator using 20-ton machines and birthing a water canal, right? So your worth is the value in the marketplace. Your not your worth as a human being, but your worth, what you're worth in relation to the value your skills and efforts bring to the marketplace. So let's look at that, and let's look at how do we increase that. Are there any ways in our work that we can increase our value to our employers or value to those around us? Okay, so let's think of that too. What we're talking about is work earlier. Now we're talking about finances and how we improve our financial position by looking at money as a data point on our decision making. And straight data point as money is neutral, the data is the data, and if we look at the data, we can make decisions on how we move forward. So money is neutral. When you say, or we say, we can't afford it, there's double meaning there. One meaning is technically I am not able to pay for, we'll say $10 thing. Technically I'm not able to pay for this $10 thing because I only have $1. Okay, I can't afford that. Okay, that's one way. The other way that I really like is, hey, I can't afford to pay $10 there because what I lose in the long term is the use of the $10 to earn me $3.50 more. So I can't afford to pay $10 for an item because what I lose in the future is another $3.50, $3.50. So there's two ways. Hey, I can't afford that thing. It's $10 because I only have $1 in my pocket. Or I can't afford that thing because it's $10, but it's going to cost me another $3.50 in earnings in the future. Money's just a data point. Money's my data point now. I texted my kids, or actually this morning, or yesterday, because I was looking at my Social Security income statement and if I have enough work credits, which I do, but I said, hey, I told my kids, I was like, hey, I looked at Social Security, I logged into the system, I have enough work credits for benefits, but really it's going to amount to cheese and crackers, really, at that point. While that's tongue-in-cheek, the reality is it's closer to that than not, and that's if those benefits are still available. So I don't want to rely on that, because that would, if it is available, I'd want that to bridge the gap. I don't want that to be 100% of what I have coming in. Because then what happens? If you're relying upon that, guess who your daddy is? The government. Your daddy's the man, the government. If you're 100% relying upon that, which I do not want to be, that's why I'm developing the 5-year millionaire journey, which for me is more delusionally doable than saying being a millionaire in 1 year. But again, with technology, people are able to do some of this stuff, right? So I'm delusional in the sense that I believe it can be done in 5 years with some major life changes, which is what I'm kind of talking to you about. So skilling up at work, increasing your skills for work to increase your income through work, so you can take those additional dollars and put them into savings and investings that will work on your behalf. I'm not a financial advisor or a financial planner, so if you need to go see one, I would advise you go see one. Have the conversation and open that conversation up sooner than later, and don't be embarrassed by it either. Don't be embarrassed by money conversations, because we need to learn this stuff. Not only do we need to learn it, but we also need to learn something that we can share with people that we love. And then it puts us in purpose, on purpose, for our purpose. Triple P puts us in purpose, on purpose, for our purpose. And that's getting ourselves set up for a decent retirement. A warm house and food to eat, but a warm house, food to eat, but not government cheese and powdered milk, powdered potatoes, powdered eggs, powdered beans. I'm not trying to live that life. So I've taken time, rediverted that wasteful time into useful time, learned about some opportunities to take advantage of to increase income from that wasted time. So now it's producing income versus extracting time. And then I just got to thinking, man, I got to take this a little bit further. It doesn't seem like I'm doing enough. So then it's, okay, wasting time on Instagram, but then also wasting time where the conversation isn't edifying. Spending time and energy and headspace where it's not positively useful for you and me. It doesn't provide a positive impact for our lives. And this is where it gets a little tough, because we're so far gone in the wilderness. I'm in Alaska right now, and it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's pretty nice. I mean, I'm not in the wilderness, but Alaska kind of is the wilderness, the last known frontier kind of thing. So if we're lost in the wilderness, we need tools and understanding of some tools to point us to where we want to go. Okay? Fair enough. If we're lost in the wilderness, we need tools to point us in the direction that we want to go. All right? Does that work? If we're lost in the wilderness and GPS doesn't work, what tools do we have to at least get to a point and a place where if people were searching for us, they could find us? All right. I mean, let that sink in. Do we have tools if we're lost that we can be found and there's no GPS? Or that we can give ourselves the best shot at survival? Okay? Because if you are, what tools do you have that would afford you the ability to survive long enough that the chances of finding you are better than if you didn't have usable tools? Okay? So money is a data point. A lot of us are lost in the in the money data point wilderness where we can't make heads or tails of where we are, but we know we're not safe. And that's where we all need to open up to people that know about money. And this may not be the people closest to you. This may not be your family. This may not be your spouse. This may not be, brothers and sisters, or it may not be. It may have to be somebody outside that has the experience to walk through it with you, to let you know your situation, because money's a data point. By having somebody look at your data points and saying, hey, here's the reality, here's what needs to happen. Here's the reality, here's what needs to happen. That's what we're going to need. That's the person and people that we need. I'm searching some of those out now, and I know a couple of people within my family. And look, the reason why family can be challenging is if they don't know, if they don't know and have shown success in the money game, their desire to be approved may skew their input into your life. Okay? And I'm not your friend. I'm just one guy talking to myself, using money as a data point, and trying to find ways to improve my positioning for retirement in the future. That's what I'm doing. Well, I'm getting pretty close to my Airbnb. I still have a few more thoughts on this, and I still need to probably better organize my thoughts on it, maybe when I'm sitting down. But I know if we don't change, then nothing changes. And the data points may say that your retirement and my retirement will look like government cheese and powdered milk. So yeah, thanks for joining the ride with me and keeping me company, and thanks for hearing me out. And I look forward to some of your input and some of your comments about where you are and what you're thinking and where you want to go, and what, if any, changes that you can make, no matter the size of the change, that forces your habits to change so we can be better off in the future. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining. See you next time.